Avengers, assemble. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the videos we produce, and consider supporting us on Patreon. Again, thank you so much for your support. So, I get asked a lot on what I would do with Spider-Man after No Way Home, and I get asked about various products when we're in live streams. What would you do with this property? What would you do with this property? And sometimes it's like, I got to take a step back and I got to think. So we did a live stream a little bit ago, and I was asked, what would you do with Spider-Man after No Way Home? And I've had time to think about it. I've had time to take a step back, really collect my thoughts. What would the next trilogy be? And for me, I want to pull back. It's time to pull back. It's time to get focused on Spider-Man. So right up front, no other superheroes. No other superheroes at all in the Spider-Man films. No major appearances except for Daredevil. He will get his chance to shine with Spider-Man. But this is my Gang War trilogy. This is for Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6. So sit down, relax, and I will present to you my Gang War trilogy for Spider-Man in the MCU. The first film, Spider-Man Outlaw. Spider-Man is being hunted by Wilson Fisk. The Kingpin has hired Kraven the Hunter and Mac Gargan to take out Spider-Man. Kingpin, of course, is the arch nemesis of Daredevil. So Peter and his lawyer, Matt Murdock, Daredevil, team up and take the fight to Kingpin. Meanwhile, at Empire State University, Peter meets Harry, Gwen Stacy, and Eddie Brock. This is his new supporting cast. And Peter gets a job at the ESU lab. At the end of Spider-Man Outlaw, Peter learns that Harry's last name is Osborn. The post-credit scene will introduce Norman Osborn, who I feel should be played by Matthew McConaughey, and he is working on a green serum with Otto Octavius. In the Empire State University lab, which is led by Dr. Kirk Connors, his team is investigating a strange black goo. So ultimately in Outlaw, Peter and Daredevil will take out Kraven the Hunter and take out Scorpion and light a fire underneath Kingpin. That leads us into Spider-Man 5. This is Spider-Man Gang War. Kingpin goes to war against a rising criminal threat who calls himself the Green Goblin. The Goblin wants to rule New York, and Kingpin has some new enforcers, including Hammerhead. Early in the film, there is an explosion at Oscorp, and Otto is left comatose with arms grafted to his body. Peter, because of the events of No Way Home, suspects Norman Osborn the entire film. A huge fight breaks out at the Empire State University labs, and the Goblin escapes, but is severely injured. In addition to that, just as a note, that black strange goo from Spider-Man Outlaw, yeah, after that big fight in that third act, that black substance, it goes missing. So, at the end of the film, Peter finds an injured Goblin and unmasks him and discovers it's Harry Osborn. In the first post-credit scene, Otto Octavius wakes up. And in the second, the black substance has been stuck on Peter's costume since the fight at the end of the film. And it crawls out of Peter's backpack and consumes him. And the film ends. This leads us into the sixth film. And I'm kind of proud of this one. Spider-Man: The Sinister Six. In this film, the Green Goblin returns and recruits Otto, now called Dr. Octopus, and assembles a team of Spider-Man's greatest villains. Dr. Octopus, Vulture, Scorpion, Kraven, Shocker, and the newly introduced Rhino. After the loss of the black substance and losing funding, Eddie loses his job at the Empire State University labs, as does Peter Parker. And Eddie blames Spider-Man. Peter, meanwhile, gets a job at the Daily Bugle. Throughout the course of the film, after a number of fights, Peter finally learns that Norman was the Green Goblin the entire time. Knowing that Spider-Man was hot on his trail and knowing that Spider-Man had seen him limp with an injury, Norman knocked out his son Harry, dressed him up in the costume, and broke his son's own leg, all to defect suspicions. Peter is only able to win against the Sinister Six with his new black suit. There's an amazing fight at the end of the film happening at night. Spider-Man is silent throughout the whole fight, and he takes them all down. In the morning, Peter wakes up battered and bruised, with news announcing that the Sinister Six had been defeated. But Peter has no memory of this fight, and he finally comes to the realization that the suit is taking over. Peter fights the suit. There, we managed to get a great little visual and recreate that scene from the church. He uses a church bell to help take the suit off. Once the suit's off, Peter wraps it up in his webbing, and he returns it to the ESU lab to destroy it. Now, Eddie walks in on Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has just put the black substance into a freezing chamber, and he has set it to freeze the suit. And so the suit freezes up, and Peter believes it destroyed. It guarantees, though, that Eddie Brock will have no job. Without the substance, they won't have the funding to hire him back, and it will force Eddie to drop out of Empire State University. In the post-credits scene, as Eddie is lamenting his losses and his growing hatred for Spider-Man, the ice cracks, and the black substance responds to Eddie's hatred. Eddie opens the glass capsule, and the suit consumes him. The suit talks to Eddie and reveals that Peter and Spidey are one and the same. Eddie declares that they will poison Peter Parker because we are Venom. The scene cuts to black as Venom's jaw swallows the camera, which will lead us into Spider-Man 7 and the beginning of the Symbiote Wars. So, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little peek into my imagination and approach for Spider-Man. I love this character. I absolutely love Spider-Man. I love his supporting cast. And if there's one thing that I truly believe, Spider-Man is central to Marvel Studios. But it's time to take it slow, and it's time to pull it back. I know there's a lot of excitement about Venom. I know there's always excitement about the symbiote. But if you rush it, if you give him a symbiote and Venom all in the same film, then you are repeating the same mistakes that we have constantly faced, and that is not building up Eddie Brock as a character appropriately and building up his relationship with Peter. We need time to do that. We already have Venom films to tide us over. We have Venom everywhere. Give it a chance for it to grow naturally in the film and for Peter to get the suit, have a film with the suit, and to have that core story arc told. Remember, this is serialized. This is the comics come to live action life, if you will. So let's do it right. And let's get Spider-Man back on track to the classic archetype representation that he is in the comics. And the key way to do that is push aside the rest of the MCU, because, let's be frank here, there's no one in comics with a better supporting cast. Spider-Man doesn't need other people's characters in his films. He's got this. His supporting cast has got this. Let them breathe. Give them a chance to develop. Again, thank you so much for watching. Above all else and most importantly, stay safe, take care of others, and have a marvelous day. Bye, everyone.